The Canadian country artist Brett Kissel once sang, "Come pick me up tonight, tonight, tonight. We can drive it home with one headlight." Matt, we've got two fighters that are in need of a major pick-me-up. We've got Mayra Bueno Silva taking on Romero Borella. Matt, I know you didn't like my Canadian country reference right there,
weird.
But here's something you will like, because for Romero Borella, the record's been salty over the last five. She's 1 of 4 over her last 5. She's lost 3 in a row, and they haven't gone well. She got finished by Lauren Murphy. She lost the decision to Montana De La Rosa. She lost by submission to a really tough out in Courtney Casey. And Matt, the weirdest fight of all those 3 was the Montana De La Rosa fight, because there were points where Romero Borella looked like she could finish Montana De La Rosa. There was an opportunity where she was almost into a twister, and then it didn't happen because she's not Bryce Mitchell. And then for Mayra Bueno Silva, she had a huge head of steam. She was undefeated. She comes into the UFC and finishes Jillian Robertson, and then she takes a lot of time off. So that fight against Robertson a year and 11 months ago, as of now, and then 5 months ago, she fought Marina Moroz. And Matt, I'm going to let you take it over from here about Marina Moroz. The one thing I will say is that fight between Mayra Bueno Silva and Marina Moroz ended up being a fight of the night. And Moroz won on the judges' scorecards, all 3 of them, 29-28. She landed at a 56% clip for 176 of 298 total strikes. And it was a fight where I definitely didn't see Mayra Bueno Silva winning that fight. Again, all 29-28. So I looked it up over on MMA Decisions. All but one of about 20 MMA media members scored it for Marina Moroz. So what did you make of that one?
So it's weird because Marina Moroz does the same thing in every fight. She just throws a bunch of volume. Now, does all that volume land? No. The majority of the time it doesn't, and her striking percentage is normally down to like the 20% mark. It's never really that beautiful to look at. But in her last fight, at least in that Silva fight, she was landing at a lot better rate, and she was able to keep that output, because we've seen in weird cases that against Moroz, fighters just kind of get frustrated, and then they don't really know what to do. So just standing on the outside of the range. Silva did at least engage at some points. Like you said, it was fight of the night. It was a very good fight, very competitive fight. But it raises a lot of questions, because Bueno Silva's last 2 opponents kind of do what Romero Borella does. Marina Moroz, she's all striking and doesn't really have the grappling, but she strikes in this manner very similar to Borella. And then when you look at the fight previous to that, Jillian Robertson has kind of the grappling of Romero Borella, but not really the striking. And Romero Borella is just kind of like the halfway point between the two. She can do a little bit of everything, and that was the really concerning part about her last fight against Courtney Casey, a fighter who's primarily known for her striking. She does have good grappling, don't get me wrong. The Michelle Waterson fight, she threatened with a lot of submissions, but to get submitted by Courtney Casey when you yourself are sort of touted as a bit of a grappler, it's not always a promising sign. And Bueno Silva's a very physical grappler. We saw that in the Robertson fight. When she was able to take her back, it was pretty much over at that point. And the second she's on the ground, not really in a Megaton Diaz way or in like a Gordon Ryan way of this is how we're going for the leg or anything, but she's still very physical on top and really wears on her opponent. And I think that's a huge X factor in this fight, because they're going to be grappling at some point, but the fact that Silva has such a strength and such a physicality advantage, I think is really going to pay dividend in this fight.
And it's really interesting when you look at the background of Romero Borella, and I'm just looking at it on MMA Form Guide, BJJ blue belt, judo black belt, kickboxing black belt, shoot the box black belt. And it's not necessarily, and we say this every time, it's like we talk about the Luis Smolka effect, and we talk about the early Gilbert Burns effect. Can a fighter bring everything together and bring it to that next level like Gilbert Burns was able to do with his striking and his grappling and his overall wrestling abilities as well? I mean, we're going to talk about it later on, but Gilbert Burns took Tyron Woodley down. That doesn't happen. That doesn't happen. So can Romero Borella break this 1 out of 4 skid where she's lost 3 in a row? Can she bring all those pieces together? She trains at a great gym with so many talented women. I mean, Amanda Nunes, Jillian Robertson used to be there, and Amanda Hebus. Like, I could go on all day. You want an AJ check? Will she finally bring it together? I don't know if this is the fight, but the thing that scares me about this, and I wouldn't touch this fight with a 10-foot pole, is the fact that Mayra Bueno Silva opened as a minus 330 favorite, now a minus 245. Romero Borella open plus 270 now, closing around, and I say closing, but she's around a plus 195 to a plus 200, somewhere in there. If you look at Mayra Bueno Silva in her UFC debut against Robertson, over on Tapology, a plus 120 underdog, and then against Morose, a minus 160 favorite. So a little bit of an interesting stat line there. And then if you look over on Tapology, of 708 votes, 92% Mayra Bueno Silva, 63% by submission. Now, I get it. If you look at Mayra Bueno Silva, Robertson, first round submission, Mayana Souza, submission, decision win before that. Like the majority, 4 out of her 6 wins are by submission, and that's all well and good. And again, I get it. Romero Borella hasn't had a good run. She can eke out a crafty win. I'm sure she can. There's a path for it. Like we said, belted in all these different disciplines in martial arts. She's an older fighter. I don't think she's going to win. I don't like minus 330 odds that go to like minus 275 in women's flyweight. It's not a fight I would touch.
No, and that's what I was just about to say. Is Bueno Silva going to win? More likely than not. I can almost, not that I can guarantee it, but let's be honest. She does. She does the thing that Romero Borella is not great at escaping. And the fact that she's such a huge favorite, though, doesn't really make much sense. Again, you have to justify the fact that you can be 3 times more likely to win a fight than lose it. And she really just hasn't shown that in her UFC career so far. She's shown promise. She's shown a great skill set. But she hasn't been able to really say, like, okay, this is my definitive win just yet. I get it. It's early in her career. But I think Bueno Silva should be able to get it done. And probably by submission. Yeah,
and I think just like I opened with the Brett Kissel lyrics that Matt didn't like. And hey, check out Brett Kissel. The kid loves to wear a black cowboy hat and jeans. But overall, I've got Mayra Bueno Silva as well. I'm looking forward to the fight. It's a good card. We got a great main event. Colby Covington, Tyron Woodley. Is it going to be volume? Is it going to be power? Who knows? Give me fuel. Give me fire. Give me that which I desire. Ooh, yeah. Matt, keep it locked in with Fight Night Picks. And as we always say, let's get into it.